Surrey took the LV County Championship 2nd Division title on the last day at the Kia Oval, but the day was one which was also enjoyed by Northamptonshire's Adam Rossington and David Murphy, who both hit the best scores of their careers. There was an extraordinary start to the last day of this match in what was an extraordinary morning session. To the first ball, Ben Duckett moved past 1,000 first-class runs for the summer. But to the second, it was LBW to Tom Curran, who now remarkably had 9 wickets in this match and 75 in the championship season, an incredible return for a 20-year-old. Duckett was out for 120, and then in the next over, Rob Keogh, before he'd scored, drove Sam Curran to Ben Folkes at point. Tom Curran then had 10 wickets in the match for the first time, as Alex Wakely was LBW without adding to his overnight tally of 93. Starting the morning on 223 for 1, Northamptonshire now found themselves on 228 for 4, still 72 runs behind after following on the previous day, and it looked as if this match might be concluded quickly. Rossington had other ideas, however, and produced something rather special. He dealt pretty much in boundaries alone from the moment he came to the crease, the timing of his shots particularly noticeable. He dominated a 5th wicket partnership of 51 with Josh Cobb, who was out for 6, before the former Middlesex man rushed to a 50 from only 48 balls with a couple of 4s off Gareth Batty, which took Rossington's boundary count up to 11. At the other end, Murphy got his innings moving in the right direction by slog sweeping Batty into the distance for a big 6. Rossington was in magnificent form. He'd come in the morning's 3rd over with his side in a lot of trouble, yet his counter-attack had him at a score of 94 by the time the players headed off for lunch. The stats of his knock are rather ridiculous. In the morning session, all by himself, he hit 19 boundaries, and by the time the players headed off for the break, he'd added 83 runs with Murphy in 17 overs, Murphy himself going along rather nicely on 30, but this was a morning that Rossington will surely never forget. He wasted no time in getting to 3 figures on the restart either, this couple off Sam Curran taking him to a ton for the 3rd time in his first-class career. He's only 22 years of age and he'd never played better. 20 crunching boundary shots having him at his century off just 88 balls, and remember, this had come just when his side was staring defeat right in the face. You know you've impressed when you get a handshake from Kumar Sangakkara. Armed with the second new ball, Tom Curran then should have added to his 10 wickets, only for both Murphy and Rossington to be dropped in the slips, and that allowed Rossington to go past 103 for his career best, and for Murphy to complete a 50 off 74 balls. That was his 5th 4, and he struck 2 more off his next 2 deliveries. Indeed, it was Murphy who now took over the scoring, hitting the ball to all parts of this famous ground, one which has witnessed some wonderful innings in the past. The two from Murphy and Rossington were both mightily impressive, the former now racing through the numbers as he now became the man to hit 1 boundary after another in what had by now become something of an explosive partnership. Murphy overtook the 81 he made against Hampshire 2 summers ago to be at his career best too. After putting on 162 runs in 35 overs, Rossington, who'd slowed down considerably, was out for 116, Matt Dunn having him caught behind with a total on 441 for 6 and the lead at 141. From nowhere, that started another collapse. 2 balls later, Graham White drove Dunn to Tom Curran at point, before Dunn struck twice more in his next over. Azarullah gave the elder Curran some more catching practice, and then next ball, Maurice Chambers was yorked. Dunn had now taken 4 wickets for no runs in 10 balls to give his side a great chance of finishing off the season with a victory. But standing in their way was Murphy, and it was now his turn to really shine. In the next over, he moved from 88 to his maiden 100. He hit this 6 off Batty, and then next ball he turned the spinner around the corner to reach 3 figures for the first time off 124 balls. He struck 2 6s and a dozen 4s in what was a tremendous knock from the 26-year-old who's had limited opportunities in the first team of late. This was a chance for him to show how good he is, and he did that in spades. He still had a game to save, and backed by the injured Rory Kleinfeld, who was again batting with a runner, Murphy was able to just about take this match away from the hosts with a last wicket partnership of 71, those runs occupying just 11 overs. Northants have had an odd game with the bat. Bowled out in 30 overs in their first innings, their second saw partnerships of 227, 162, 71 and 51, yet the other 6 between them added only 3 runs. Their innings was finally over at tea as Kleinfeld offered Batty a return catch to go for 20, Murphy ending on a magnificent 135 made out of his team's 514. That left Surrey a target of 215 in the last session of 33 overs, and having a go for it they promoted Stephen Davis up the order, only to lose him for a golden duck as he was comprehensively bowled by Azarullah. Jason Roy was the other opener, and what an innings he produced. The first of his 8 sixes went many a mile. Sangakkara's fine summer ended when he was out for 9 as he rather unluckily found Azarullah off Chambers, the Sri Lankan out with a score on 22 for 2 after 4 overs. Roy then went after Azarullah in the next over, 2 fours sandwiched by this maximum in an over which went for 16 runs. White was then brought on to bowl Rory Burns for a duck with his third delivery, but that didn't stop Roy, who cleared the rope with another extraordinary shot off Azarullah, whose 4 overs went for 42 runs. His replacement Keogh then saw firsthand why Roy is now playing one-day cricket for England. His third ball was crunched over the rope as the batsman got to a fantastic 50 off just 25 deliveries. 5 sixes and 4 fours, meaning that there was hardly any running between the wickets at all. 2 of the next 3 deliveries were also struck into the distance. Roy making the art of smashing maximums seemed so simple. If he was going to stay in for much longer, then Surrey were going to make very light work of their target. Keogh came off after his 1 over cost 20, and his replacement Cobb then watched the first 2 balls he bowled also be hammered into next week. The bowler couldn't afford to drop in too short, but then if he pitched the ball up, the result was exactly the same. This was exhilarating batting. Cobb would have been happy to have Roy off strike. His first ball at Aaron Haranath hitting the stumps to leave Surrey on 99 for 4 in the 11th over. And the chase was called off when, in the next over, Roy for once didn't middle a shot. He looked hurt when he found Cobb in the deep, but what an innings it was, 77 runs being made off only 35 balls. It was now Northants who fancied winning, but after just 4 more overs, both captains decided that they'd seen enough and the match was drawn, Surrey ending on 125 for 5 after 15.5 overs before they headed off to lift the trophy. It was a day packed with entertainment and makes it rather sad that the season is now at an end. Surrey will be thrilled with the way it went. They finished 10 points clear at the top of the second division table with 8 wins from their 16 games and some unforgettable moments included. Northamptonshire had to settle for 5th spot after taking 8 points from this contest.